Hello, this is Hal Elrod, author of The Miracle Morning, and you're listening to FSM RX.
So hey guys, it's Stephen Kinsley here from FSM RX'd, and today I have the privilege of interviewing one of my current favorite guys on YouTube and podcasting is Hal Elrod from themiraclemorning.com and author of the book The Miracle Morning and other books such as Taking Life Head On. Hal, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. This is going to be a lot of fun, and I appreciate the opportunity, Stephen.
Cool. So Hal, for a lot of people, we're based in Ireland, and for a lot of people that might not know of you, like I heard of you through Dave Asprey's podcast. That's the first time I heard of you last year.
Okay.
And from there, I checked out your website. From there, I bought your book. I read it as soon as I got it, and I've been following The Miracle Morning pretty much. I'd say 80%. I wouldn't say 100% because there is days where it doesn't get done properly. Following it and pass it on to a few friends.
For me too, so that's okay because there's days for me that it doesn't get done either.
Good. At least that's a bit of a relief. But for guys that don't know, like you've had a pretty kind of interesting life, especially from your car crash when you were age 20. Could you just kind of go into a few details just regarding that and kind of on how that evolved to where you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. When I was 20 years old, I had been selling. I started a career in sales at 19, and so a year and a half into that career, I had broken all sorts of company records and become one of their top salespeople in the 50-year history of the company, and that changed my life because up until that point, I had never really done anything noteworthy. You know, I wasn't even a good student. I wasn't an athlete. But I kind of found my niche. I got really excited about this product, and the product was Cutco cutlery, you know, world class kitchen knives, and so I broke these records. And a year and a half into the career, I gave a speech at a conference, and after the speech, I was driving home in my brand new Ford Mustang, which for me at 20 years old, that was like the dream car. Bought my own car, and it was just a few weeks old when I bought it. I just got it, and driving home, I was hit head on by a drunk driver traveling at 70 miles per hour. I'm not sure what that is in kilometers, but 70 miles per hour, head-on collision. I was doing 70, he was doing 70 or 80, so it was 140, 150 mile an hour head-on collision. My car spun off the drunk driver. Another car, the worst was yet to come when they hit me in my car door at 70 miles an hour. So imagine if a car drives into your door of your car at 70 miles an hour, it crushed the left side of my car into the left side of my body, and instantaneously I broke 11 bones, including I broke my femur in half. It, broke it in two pieces. I broke my pelvis in three places, broke my arm in half, my humerus bone behind my elbow the bone broke in half. I almost completely had my ear severed. I mean, it was bad. My eye socket was destroyed, and I began bleeding, losing a lot of blood. Yeah. And luckily, I was immediately in a coma. I think there's that mechanism where the body, brain shuts the body down when you're in some sort of unbearable pain. And I was in a coma immediately. And when they finally got me out of the car, it took the fire department about an hour to cut the roof off, and I was trapped inside the wreckage. And when they finally pulled me out of the car, I had lost so much blood that I actually died. And I was clinically dead for about 6 minutes on the side of the freeway while they revived me, rushed me to the hospital, and I woke up from a coma 6 days later to face just really an unimaginable reality. I woke up not knowing why I was there or how I got there, why I was in the hospital. And come to find out, I've got, my legs broken, my arms broken, my pelvis is broken in three places. My brain damage was so bad that I had almost no short-term memory whatsoever. Yeah. And the worst was that the doctor said I might never walk again. So, you wake up at 20 and find all this out, and it's pretty challenging. And To keep a long story short, I decided that, you know what, the doctors might be experts in medicine, but they're not experts in me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to accept the worst case scenario of not walking, but I'm going to focus on walking again. And 3 weeks after the crash, the doctors came in with routine x-rays and they really couldn't explain it. They said, Hal, we don't know how to explain this, but your body is healing so rapidly that we're going to let you take your first step tomorrow. So it went from never walking again to 3 weeks later, I took my first step. And kind of the rest is history, you know. Obviously, there's a lot more to the story, but the rest is history, as they say.
And do you feel that kind of it was more of a mental decision for you? Because I know like some people, like if they were in a bad car crash or any sort of accident for that matter, and the doctor claim, all right, you're not going to be able to do this anymore, or you're not going to be able to do that, and they just accept it, so the body accepts it. Do you feel that you kind of changed that? I know in the book you said at one point the doctors were talking to your parents saying that he's too happy and that we think there's something wrong, and I think your response from what the book says is that if I can't change it in 5 minutes, I'm allowed to be mad for 5 minutes, and let's move on from it. Which is something I really took away from the book, because that's something I try to implement. If I can't physically change it at the time, 5 minutes I can be angry and then move on. For you, would it be mental? You think that the mental aspect is what helped you get back healing quicker?
Yeah, I mean, I think that everything starts with our mindset. You know, I mean, everything starts with our mind. It starts and it ends with our mindset, right? So, you know, for example, achieving success starts with your mindset, right? Your mindset around what's possible for you and what you're committed to do. But then, you know, let's say you achieve that success. Well, a lot of people are successful, but they're not happy, right? They're successful, but they're, you know, they feel like nothing's ever enough, or they're not good enough, or whatever it is. So it begins and ends with mindset. It's that mindset of being grateful for what you have and accepting of the things that you can't change, and, you know, moving toward the things that you want for your life, and focusing on what's in your control. So yeah, that's the greatest lesson I learned in the accident, is that negative emotions are self-created. We think that it's the thing that we're focused on that is the reason that we're upset or angry or sad or depressed, you know, but it's not the thing. It's the fact that when we're unwilling to accept things that are out of our control that we can't change, that's how we create emotional pain for ourselves. You know, if you're in traffic and you go, gosh dang it, I wish these cars would go faster. Well, you're creating negative emotions for yourself because you won't accept that the cars are going, you know, however fast they're going, right?
Yeah.
If we lose a loved one, right, we feel emotional pain until the moment we finally accept, you know what, they're not coming back, so I don't have to. I mean, we're allowed to grieve. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but I mean, there are people that, you know, they lost someone decades ago and they're still suffering over it, and what they think they're suffering because that person died, but they're suffering because they haven't made the conscious decision to accept and be at peace with the fact that person's gone. And once you do that, it's kind of like giving yourself the key to unlock the door to emotional freedom.
Yeah. Well, that's like we run like a gym here. We have a lot of clients, and one of our clients just literally 2 weeks ago fractured her wrist in 2 places, and she's been in the gym more than ever, training away. And we've got other clients that would have a sore knee, and we wouldn't see them for 2 weeks. And I suppose it's as you say, like if you, right, I have a fractured wrist, like as you had a broken leg, you were told you couldn't walk, but you're like, I've accepted that, but I'm not going to give into that, and I'm going to move on. I'm going to work my way up. Do you find that with people you work with currently, or even in the past, that trying to change mindset is hard for people? Like what we do, trying to help clients get fitter and stronger, is, for us, designing programs is easy, but we're trying to tackle the mental side of things now. And for some people, just to kind of, what would be, actually the question would be, what would be the big catalyst you would use to help people just start changing their outlook on how they perceive themselves, or just their life, or their job, or their family? Yeah,
I mean, it's absolutely, the Miracle Morning is, I mean, it's the most powerful accelerator for your mindset, and really just to take every area of yourself to the next level, so that you can take your success to the next level, because it only happens in that order.
Yeah.
Most people are trying to take their success to the next level and thinking that'll make them better or happier or whatever. But the idea is, if you want level 10 success on a scale of 1 to 10 in your life, any area of your life, you first have to become a level 10 person in that area. You want level 10 relationships, it's not about changing your partner, it's about changing yourself, right?
Yeah.
You want level 10 finances, well, you better educate yourself on what it takes to become achieve the success you want financially, and then every day you need to condition that mindset. And that's what the Miracle Morning does, is it takes 6 of the most powerful personal development practices known to man, and for the first time in history, to my knowledge, it puts them all together. So rather than just do 1 or 2 of what the most successful people in the world do each day for personal development, you're doing all 6 of the most powerful practices. And I call these the lifesavers. Yeah, and basically the word savers is the acronym for the 6 practices of the Miracle Morning. The first S is for silence, the A is for affirmations, the V is for visualization, the E is for exercise, the R is for reading, and the final S is for scribing. And I'll close with this. I was recently I went to an event, and Robert Kiyosaki was he and I were both speaking at this event. We were the 2 keynote speakers, and Robert Kiyosaki wrote the #1 personal finance book of all time, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
He's 65 years old. He's a multimillionaire, to my knowledge, right? And I got to meet him, and so I gave him a copy of the Miracle Morning, and I signed it. And I figured the odds of him reading it are not very good. I mean, he's 65 years old. He's been in the personal development space for like 30 years. He's probably read, and he reads a lot. He's read every book out there. So I figured the odds aren't very good. But you got to take a shot. You miss all the shots you don't take. So I gave him the book. A few weeks later, I got an email from his publicist or his manager. I said, Hal, Robert and his wife Kim are big fans of the Miracle Morning, and they want to have you on Rich Dad Radio.
Oh, cool.
And
Brilliant.
I was like, wow, oh my gosh, right? So I get on. But it got better. When I got on the radio show, he starts going off on how the Miracle Morning, he's read the book 3 times. It's changed his life. He's on day 60. And I'm just, my jaw hit the floor. And then, he said, actually, he wrote me a note afterwards to put in the book, and he said, Hal, many of the world's he said all of the world's most successful people do one of the savers. Maybe they do 2. Maybe they do exercise, or maybe they meditate. He said, until your book, I've never seen all 6 of these practices put into one ritual. And he said, it's part of my daily life now. The savers are part of my daily life. He said, and this is what he said. He said, doing the savers each day is like pumping rocket fuel into my mind, body, and spirit. So after that, I was just like, well, dude, if the book could change Robert Kiyosaki's life,
he's
all right, for me, I don't even want to try to convince people. I'm just like, take that and do what you will with it or whatever. But anyway, so that's the most recent kind of most exciting testimonial, if you will, from somebody for the Miracle Morning.
Well, that's brilliant. Again, it speaks volumes for someone that's so successful to turn around and give that feedback back to you, as in, this is what needs to be done. And like the guys that I've given it, like I've gotten 2 of our trainers and a few of my colleagues to read the book first of all, and it's a whole new concept of how to just get up and go, and their focus in what they do is better. They want to be better, and like as it says, it's the not so obvious solution to a better life. Like it is stuff that you have heard of before, but when you put it all together and you actually do it, that's the main thing. Doing my first 30 days was tough, and some days it was kind of like, I don't think I need to do everything today, but I pushed through, and just the changes that happened with me personally and just for our company, just structurally, we've been better for it, and it's been amazing. So again, thank you for actually for the Miracle Morning is one of my things. But another question that I want to bring up, because it's something that's kind of I've been kind of trying to delve into a little bit more, and you have a bit more hands-on, is you suffered from depression a bit
Yes.
after obviously the accident, and then a second time, I think, when there was a recession and stuff went bad for you financially.
Yes.
And I know exercise helped you get out of that, and obviously because we run a fitness company, and we use fitness to help our members be better at life, health, and performance. How did that come around? Did you have to hit rock bottom, or how did the exercise help you initially to kind of start motivating yourself to kind of get up and start moving more?
No. So what happened is, and actually, right after my accident, I actually didn't experience depression. And I was, again, the 5-minute rule, I applied that, where it's okay to be negative, not for more than 5 minutes. I accepted it, and I just decided that even if I'm in a wheelchair the rest of my life, this is what I told my dad. I said, if I'm in a wheelchair the rest of my life, I'll be the happiest person you've ever seen in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Because I'm in a wheelchair, either way, I could either be miserable in a wheelchair or happy, and that seems like the obvious choice. But no, but I did in 2008 when the U.S. economy crashed. I went from being relatively successful, where I had launched a coaching business, and I was earning a great income. I had written my first book, which had become a bestseller. I had launched my professional speaking career, which was my dream, and I was doing that, paid speaking. So life was good. I just bought my first brand new house. I'd bought my dream car, little 2-door, Infiniti sports car. And then when the economy crashed, it really felt like overnight, but it was kind of like a 6-month downward spiral. I lost over half of my coaching clients because because of the economy, they couldn't afford to pay for their coaching. I lost over half my income. I was living on credit cards. I went from being a Dave Ramsey, student, being debt-free, paying off my credit cards each month, to having a credit card balance of $53,000 and climbing every month. And I stopped exercising completely. So I because money was so tight, I canceled my gym membership, and I was just focused on trying to make money every day and thought I didn't have time to exercise. And what happened was, after 6 months of this downward spiral, my wife, who back then was my girlfriend, but she basically just said, Hal, I hate seeing you like this, sweetheart. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help you, but you've got a really couple smart friends. Why not call your friend John, who's like a business genius, and get some advice on how you can turn your business around? And see, the thing is, I hadn't told very many people about my situation, even my best friend John, because I was a success coach.
Yeah.
So if you could see the identity crisis, Stephen, right? It's like, when I call people and go, hey, I'm failing miserably. Do you know anyone that needs a success coach? And so, but I call John, and I pour my heart out. I'm like, choked up, like trying to just tell him how bad it's gotten and how down I am. And I said, John, I'm sitting here with my laptop open. I'm ready to take notes. You tell me what to do. And I was expecting business advice, like, step 1, put up a website. Step 2, optimize your search engine, or whatever, right? And he goes, Hal, he said, are you exercising every day? And I said, dude, I could barely get out of bed in the morning. No, I'm not exercising, and canceled my gym membership. I haven't exercised in 6 months. He said, look, you're a smart guy, but if you're not exercising every day and getting blood and oxygen, to your brain, releasing endorphins, if you're not, you're going to keep feeling depressed. You got to get out the front door every day, get some fresh air, get some sunshine, exercise, something, and put yourself in a peak physical, mental, and emotional state that exercise will do for you. And he said, and while you're on those runs every morning, listen to a self-help audio, podcast, audiobook, whatever, on whatever area you want to improve, business, whatever it is. And he said, that's how you will turn things around, is you put yourself in a peak physical state by exercising, and then listen to some self-help, read a book when you get home, whatever. But every day, nurture your mind, body, and spirit in those ways. And, that's how you're going to turn it around. And my first thought was, first thing I said was, what the hell does exercise have to do with anything I just told you, right?
Yeah.
And he said, he reiterated what he just said. And I said, I hate running, though. He said, what do you hate worse, running or your circumstances that you just described? I'm like, all right, fine, I'll go on a run. And the next morning I went on a run, and I listened to a Jim Rohn audio, and literally 2 minutes into the run, right, heightened clarity, right? I'm exercising, I'm feeling better, and I hear a quote that becomes the catalyst to turn my life around faster than I ever thought possible. Jim Rohn said, your level of success will seldom exceed your level of personal development, because success is something you attract by the person you become. And I'll say that again, so you can make sure, hear it, write it down. Your level of success will seldom exceed your level of personal development, because success is something you attract by the person you become. And in that moment, I stopped running and I realized I am not dedicating time each day to my personal development. Therefore, I'm not becoming the person that I need to be to create the success that I want in my life. And I had an epiphany. I thought, I'm going to go home. I'm going to get on Google. I'm going to spend, an hour researching what are the best personal development practices known to man. What do the world's most successful people do every day that I'm not doing?
Yeah.
And I ran home. I basically came up with a list of 6 practices, and then I tried to go back and figure out which one of these is the best one. Like, which one's going to get me results the fastest. And as I'm going through the 6 and researching and reading articles online and Forbes.com, and none was more convincing than another. Depending on who you ask, they go, oh yeah, this is the one, or this is. Here's an example. These 6 practices are organized into an acronym called the SAVERS, as in the lifesavers. And the first S is for silence, which most people do meditation, some people do prayer, a lot of people do a combination of both. But you can, if you do research on meditation, there's a great article, Fortune 500 CEOs that meditate. And you find out that these Fortune 500 CEOs meditate, most of them not for spiritual reasons, but because it gives them the best mindset to succeed during the day, make the best decisions, have the most willpower, right? Ray Dalio said the same thing. He's a billionaire, and he said that the number one key to his financial success is meditation. So for me, I was looking at these 6, but then Will Smith says affirmations were his key. Yeah. So long story short, my epiphany was, what if I did all of these? I've never seen anyone that does all of these. Yeah. That would be like ultimate personal development. The next morning I woke up, I did all of it. I didn't call it the Miracle Morning, but within 2 months I had doubled my income, went from being in the worst shape of my life to training for a 52-mile ultra marathon, and went from being depressed to being the happiest and most ambitious I'd ever been in my life. And that's why I started calling it the Miracle Morning, because of that. Yeah. And I really had no idea it would become a book. I had no idea it would change hundreds of, or I don't know how many lives now it's up to, but I didn't know that would happen. It was really just something that helped me, and then I felt like I owed it to other people to help them.
Yeah. And that's if you hadn't have done that, we wouldn't have come across it here. I wouldn't have bought the book, and I wouldn't have shared it on and paying it forward. Again, thank you for coming to that conclusion of putting the 6 together, the 6 savers, and starting the Miracle Morning for your personal development, which has inspired and helped so many people develop themselves to be better in family and work and life. There's one question I ask everyone that I've interviewed so far, Hal, and I know you've read books, and you're all like a list of your you've written books, and the list of them will be on the article that goes with the interview. But if you had another book, obviously not one of yours, The Miracle Morning, but if another book that has inspired you, or a podcast, or someone people should listen to if they're in a bit of a funk and they need to get out of it, what would you what book or a podcast or a person inspiration would you advise people to listen to if you had one person to pick?
It's obviously hard to pick one. I've got so many mentors, but a really good book that's kind of unknown, and I like recommending this because if I recommend a book that everyone's heard of, there's a limited amount of value. So there's a book called Vision to Reality. Okay. It's by a woman named Honore Corder. Vision to Reality, and the book's about what it sounds like. How do you turn your vision into your reality? Which to me, it's just a book that everybody should read. And if you follow the advice in the book, in fact, I'm now friends with the author. I've reached out to her, and it turned out she was a fan of the Miracle Morning, which was really cool. Super. But she, we've kind of talked, and we've gone. Our books are a great pair together, because the Miracle Morning is the first book to read. It really gets you, make sure you start every day at a level 10. And if you've never been a morning person in your entire life, which a lot of Miracle Morning practitioners were not morning people when they started, there's a whole book dedicated to how do you become a morning person even if you've never been one. Yeah. And then beyond that, so then her book is a great book. Like, okay, once you do your Miracle Morning, what do you do during the day to turn your vision into reality? So they really go well together.
That's cool. We'll link that as well and see if, for our viewers. Hal, thank you very much for taking the time today for being on FSM RX'd. We hope our viewers enjoy the show and buy your book and start living a better life.
Cool. Hey, thanks for having me, Steven. I
No,
appreciate it, buddy.
have a great day.
All right, take care.
All right,
Bye.
cheers. Bye bye.
Hey guys, don't forget to head over to our YouTube channel and click the subscribe button and check out FSM RX'd and be the first to get the latest interviews with top coaches and athletes. Also check out 365 Results for better tips and hints on fitness. Go over to our website crossfitfsm.ie and download your free Rogue Nutrition ebook, and check us out on Facebook and Instagram at CrossFit FSM.